Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This one's from user Clockwork Moose. Bridezilla wants my email address. Bridezilla does not get it. Info important to the story. My surname can also be used as an uncommon first name. One of my email addresses is first name, surname at whatever. And I've been using it since 2005. A few days ago, I'm sitting at the table with my fiance addressing wedding invitations when my phone buzzes. I've gotten an email that reads, "Please mark name 1 and name 2 as coming to your wedding. We will have the chicken and the fish." Cue a very confused 30 seconds of trying to figure out which of our guests has precognition and has RSVP'd before the invites were even dropped in the mail. Not recognizing the sender's email or the names of either guest, we chalk it up to a wrong email address. Send back, "You might want to double check who you sent this to so your RSVP goes to the right place." And chuckle at the confusion it cost us, thinking things have been resolved. Until the next day when I get 2 more RSVPs from 2 different addresses, and a reply from the original that says, "This isn't the email for the wedding of first name and surname?" I reply back, no, it's not. I'm perplexed, but at work. I decided to deal with the other emails later. When I get home, I've gotten another RSVP, 4 in total for those playing along at home, as well as an email from someone with the same first name as me, saying that she's going to need me to give her my email account. I reply that, no, and also, why? I get an email back in about 10 minutes. She says that she's got the same first name as me and is getting married to a guy named Surname. They've picked first name, surname as their email account for RSVPs. She didn't realize I made the account. So I can either give my password to her, or I can reset it and she can create a new one. Whichever works for me. Smiley face. The smiley wasn't included, but it read like it should have been, so I added it here. I reply again that she's going to need to pick a new account. This is mine. It's my full name. I've had it for a literal decade. It's the email all my family knows, blah blah. More apologetic than needed at all, but I wanted to explain why I wasn't giving it up. I do congratulate her on getting married and mentioned I'm getting married myself as well. Oh, she loses it. I get a nasty string of emails from her saying that I have no right to use first name surname unless my fiance is named Surname, that I won't need it after I'm married, so what's wrong with giving it up a little early, that I am ruining her life and her wedding, that I am a wider range of gender-based insults and slurs. She hopes that my fiance cheats on me because I deserve it, and finally, she's giving me one more chance to hand it over before she sues me for theft and I owe her a lot of money. I was more than a little taken aback, so I didn't reply to any of this. The fiance did offer up some snarky replies for me to use, but I didn't. A few hours later, the original RSVPer sends me an email saying they double-checked the invitation. My email is definitely the one written on the invite. Ah, now the mystery unravels. She put my email on her wedding invites and sent them out to people without first registering the email address herself. It's printed and in the mail. It's permanent. Oh, what a super stupid decision. I finally replied to her tirade without using any of the snarky comments I'd been given, telling her under no circumstances would I be giving her my email. Legally, she doesn't have a leg to stand on. She's being super rude, but I am willing to forward on the RSVPs to her if she would like me to. I ask how many people she invited, so I can get an idea of how much work I just volunteered for. Privately, not really looking forward to forwarding emails for her, but I am not a nasty person, and hey, it is her wedding after all. I have personal, real-time experience of getting stressed over wedding plans myself. Maybe she's normally a nice person and just at her wit's end over this mistake. She sends back a nasty email full of expletives and name-calling, again demanding my password or nothing. Well, okay then, nothing it is. I blocked her email and replied to the 3 RSVPs I hadn't talked to yet with a simple, "I'm sorry, you're not invited to my wedding." This has the benefit of being 100% true, albeit deceptive. Today, I got another RSVP and they got a nice, curt, not invited reply as well. I'm hoping she has a very large wedding party. Fiancé offered a few snarky replies to the guests I could make, including claiming I'd gone vegan and by requesting chicken they'd failed the test and I never wanted them to contact me again, confirming but pushing back the date of the wedding a week, or saying that I had decided to marry fiancé's name instead of surname. None of them have responded back yet, but if they do, I'll forward the email chain between me and Bridezilla to them and explain the situation. Ha! The audacity of this bee. And by bee I mean Bridezilla. Or the other word, you get to choose. Anyways, wow, you need to give me your email because you're not allowed to have it? What the hell? You're not allowed to have that email because I'm getting married to a guy that has your surname as his first name? I'm going to sue you and you're going to owe me a lot of money? I mean, honestly, what would you say to that? I don't know how I would respond, but I loved what OP did and those special responses like not invited or stuff like that. I also like the fiancé's snarky remarks, particularly the one where they confirm but push the wedding a week. That would have been funny, I guess. Anyways, that's just one of the 2 Bridezilla stories I've got for you today, so let's continue with the next one. This one's from user Bobcat Love. How I became a bridesmaidzilla. Years ago, I moved to a new state with my husband and joined a local 20s-30s group on Meetup. I became friendly with the organizer of the group, who I'll call Jane. Over a period of 5 months, Jane and I hung out about 5 times at Meetup events, before she asked me to meet her for coffee. Our coffee outing was pleasant enough and we discussed her plans for her wedding, which was to take place the next year. At that moment she said, "I have a proposal for you," pulled out a ring pop, and asked me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. Flabbergasted, I accepted. And now's a good time to mention that at that time in my life, I was very socially awkward, had trouble making friends, and was terrible at spotting red flags. On my drive home, I reasoned that the wedding was a year away, allowing plenty of time to become good friends. Also, she might be having an enormous wedding party that just needed one more woman. When I got home and told my husband, he laughed. What kind of loser asks someone to be in their wedding after hanging out only 5 times? Over the next year, I saw her at a few meetups, but we only met twice together for lunch. At lunch, she spoke about the terrible expense of the wedding and having to work odd jobs. She pressed me to buy a shake from her or a body wrap because she was selling It Works, and I declined, but paid for lunch both times. We dealt with wedding matters by text and phone. She sent bridal shower invitations by email that had my and 2 other women's names, her best friend and sister, listed as officially throwing the shower. I called Jane to ask if I should be doing something and she laughed it off. "Oh, haha, that's just a formality, but actually I need you to pay for a third of the food being served from barbecue joint." At that point, I felt a bit dumb as I wasn't one of a dozen bridesmaids and, having not been in a wedding outside of family weddings, forgot I was expected to contribute to such costs. The day of the shower came and I had my morning planned out. I would go to the gym, go to the bank, shower and dress, then drive the hour away to her shower. Still at the gym, I got a text from her. "I need you to go to the venue 2 hours before the party to be there for the food delivery." There was absolutely no way I could be there in time on such short notice. I politely said as much and apologized, and she pushed back. "I really need this support on my special day." And I replied again, "I'm sorry, but I couldn't get there in time even if I left the gym right now and went straight there. I could have been there if you asked yesterday." I offered to show up 30 minutes early to at least help set up. After rushing around and speeding in my car, I arrived approximately 30 minutes before the shower was to start. Jane introduced me to her mother and best friend, and both remarked, "Oh, so this is OP." As we set up, her mother passively aggressively commented, "Weddings are so much work. Everyone really needs to pitch in." Irritated, I kept thinking, I don't even know you people. As we were setting up, the caterer dropped off the food, which was odd because Jane said I needed to be there 2 hours ago for the delivery. I noticed she handed over a wad of cash to the caterer. Realizing she never mentioned it would be cash on delivery, I only brought my share in cash. Would I have had to pay him the full amount if I had gone earlier? When I gave her my amount, she said I was short the amount her friend and I were splitting. I questioned, I thought it was your friend, sister, and me splitting this. To which she mumbled, my sister can't contribute right now, I'll just pay for her third. Her friend and family were really curt with me for the rest of the shower and I felt kind of pissed off. Not wanting to be a jerk, I pushed my feelings aside and tried to have a positive attitude about the upcoming wedding. A month before the wedding, Jane reached out to plan the bachelorette. Beginning to feel like an ATM, I winced at all the pricey suggestions and extras she wanted for that evening. She invited me to get a Brazilian blowout with her before the bachelorette. Just the two of us. I accepted. Then she remarked, oh great, I think they have a 2-for-1 special, so it shouldn't cost you much. 2 weeks before the wedding and 1 week before the bachelorette, I visited a new hair salon to get my highlights and got a nasty scalp fungus. My doctor gave me medication, told me some hair would probably fall out, and I definitely shouldn't have anyone else handle my hair for the next month, out of caution. I told Jane by text and she flipped out. This would ruin the Brazilians and the stylist she was having us pay to use the day of the wedding. I offered I can do my own hair as close to the style you want as possible. And she said me doing my own hair would ruin the aesthetic. Then she got her mom in on the texting conversation. Jane said she had been a barber and my fungal infection was no big deal, and the stylist could just work around it. Her mother said I was being very dramatic and making a big deal out of nothing. It was then that my F this switch was flipped. I spent more time with co-workers than I did with Jane. I've spent less money on family in 1 year than I had on Jane in that same amount of time. Until that point, I felt so pressured to be nice to a virtual stranger and I didn't know why. I told Jane I was done, and she responded with a wall of text. Basically, she had already gone through 3 other bridesmaids and 1 best man, her fiance's brother, in putting together this wedding, and I was one more person letting her down. She said her sister was also out but would be there physically on her wedding day. She said she already printed the wedding programs and I was ruining everything by quitting. I was definitely the a-hole for quitting, but I felt immensely better afterwards. Being part of that wedding felt like being a guest star on a drama with a plot which I knew nothing about. Jane went on to have her wedding. I didn't go back to her meetup group, but noticed a few months after the wedding there was a $5 fee to join it. I've since learned from my mistake and have worked to form more healthy adult friendships with other women. Okay, so I believe that OP was not at all an a-hole for quitting that wedding party. But she was being taken advantage of by a Bridezilla. She was in no way a bridesmaidzilla. The silver lining is that OP did learn from this mistake like she says. It's a good thing. Also, what kind of expenses might have this wedding gone into if Jane was using the meetup to make a little bit of cash on the side? That's weird. Anyways, what do you guys think about this situation? Let me know in the comment section. And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Also, if you feel like chatting with others from this community, you can always join my Discord server and check out my subreddit. I'll leave the links in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.